We worry so much about what food we put in our bodies. Is it organic? Is it not? Is it the right vegetables? I talk about wild animal protein versus non, or the sulfur vegetables and the oxalates. But what about what we're cooking in? What about the makeup we're using, the cleaning supplies we're using? Well, as far as the pans go that we use when we cook, Teflon has gotten to be known as the healthy way of cooking, nonstick, right? Well, there's something wrong with them as well that you should be aware of. Cases of Teflon flu, an ailment linked to cooking with nonstick pans, are on the rise, sparking concerns about the safety of this nonstick cookware. Teflon is the brand name for polytetrafluoroethylene, PTFE. Now, I emphasize fluoro because I talk a lot about iodine. In the halogen column of the periodic table, go back to chemistry class, you've got iodine, fluoride, bromine, and chlorine, right? They're all in the same column. They all look the same. So remember that this is another fluoro-based substance or toxin. We talked about microplastics, the same kind of thing. And it's in our makeup, it's in our cookware, it's in our cleaning supplies, it's everywhere. So these are things that we need to be aware of, and they are all now also now in this Teflon, these non-stick healthy pans that we're using. So it's known to be the most chemically inert, non-toxic, and non-flammable substance when used under normal conditions. But according to a report in the Earth and Planetary Sciences, PTFE is not metabolized by the body. The issue arises when the pan is left on a burner for too long. Yes, I do that myself, causing it to overheat or go dry. And this is when you could be at risk for Teflon flu or polymer fume fever. So while Teflon is generally touted as safe, and that is questionable, right? I mean, if it's harmful when it's heated too much, I'm sure there's a little bit that's getting into our system when we're just using it at all, right? So they're telling you to avoid overheating your nonstick cookware to prevent these harmful fumes. I have to tell you, the pans that we had in our kitchen, thought they were super healthy and good to be using. They're under a class action suit. So I replaced them right away. And I'm not going to tell you the brand I switched to yet. I love them so far, but I want to make sure that I really love them and nothing else comes out. I can also tell you my Stanley cup that I've been drinking out of has lead in it. And then you look up the other popular cups that have, do they have lead or not? And there are other companies that we are all thinking we're doing the right thing as health-minded people that are active and supposed to be drinking tons of water and hydrating and doing all these right things, and they're backfiring. So this is just one more thing. They describe Teflon flu as an under-recognized flu-like illness resulting from the inhalation of the thermal degradation byproducts or of the fluorocarbons. There's that fluoride-based carbons, okay? So the most common cause is the overheating of these non-stick Teflon cookware. Cases are on the rise. The Washington Post reported 267 suspected cases last year, but obviously that is underreported. People probably have these flu symptoms and don't know what they're from. We're having all of these unexplained symptoms in general. Chronic diseases are rising. I was out with some friends last night, and the talk of the amount of parents that are coming down with Parkinson's or dementia is skyrocketing. Colon cancer, all of these things coming out of nowhere. So when you talk about reporting of these actual flu symptoms from Teflon, it's very specific, and probably no one is looking at their cookware as the cause of their unexplained symptoms. So symptoms to look out for: fever and chills, just a feeling of discomfort and unease, shortness of breath, chest tightness, dry cough. Those symptoms usually show up after a few hours of exposure, but then severe risks could be pulmonary edema, which is a condition characterized by fluid buildup in the lungs that can be life-threatening, or leukocytosis, which involves high white blood cell count. So those are some things to worry about. What else? We talked about this last week with the microplastics. It's not just the one thing. It's not just the Teflon. It's not, it is having a dirty liver. The spike protein has inhibited our liver function. We're not able to metabolize fat and protein as well as we used to. So our livers are being bombarded by the spike protein, the processed foods, the artificial sweeteners, the GMOs, the glyphosate, the microplastics we talked about last week, and then the stuff we're cooking with, the Teflon, or the makeup we're using that has plastics in it or other fluoro-based substances in them. Then you have iodine deficiency. So iodine in the diet, in the soils, in our salt has actually decreased over the decades, and the toxins have gone up. Well, guess what else has gone up? Hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, all of these diseases. You've got more fluoro-based substances in our diet, meaning not just the food we're eating, but the water and the cooking supplies and our makeup and our shampoo and all of those things coming into our body. Now, when I mentioned that they're all in the same halogen column on the periodic table, iodine, fluoride, bromide, chlorine, that means that you have all of these iodine receptor sites throughout your body. If you don't have iodine filling them, guess what fills them? The lookalikes, the fluorides, the things from what we're talking about here, the fluoro-based chemicals. So with this iodine deficiency, iodine is needed for regulating estrogen production in men and women. We're getting estrogen rates going way up, progesterone going down, testosterone going down, and it's causing fatty liver disease, hormonal imbalances, unexplained weight gain, increased cancers, all of that stuff. So you have the dirty liver, iodine deficiency, you add in the tap water that's got birth control and hormone replacement therapies in there. It's full of fluoride and possibly chlorine if you're not filtering your water, right? So then that's just one more thing. You increased your sugar intake with the processed foods you're eating. That's just one more thing. Then you add in the conventional beef and meat and chicken that we've talked about that is burdening your liver even more. All of these things, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. So our bodies are under attack. And this is one more reason that we have to be so vigilant, not just about the food we're putting in our body, but what we're cooking with. And I am guilty for loving my steaks nice and crisp and burnt. Not so good for you, right? And especially if you're doing it in a Teflon pan. So throw those pans out. Make sure you're looking at the consumer reports, third-party reports that are telling you if your products are actually good to be consuming out of. And then also make sure you are protecting yourself, being in the preventable mindset. And number one is the acceleradine iodine. That is going to give every cell in your body sufficient iodine for detoxification. So like I've said before, you've got the cell membrane, right? Here's the cell membrane is made up of those lipid layer with an iodine value. Iodolipid is what it's made out of. Iodine, lipid meaning fat. So iodine and saturated and unsaturated fat. That's why I love the PC that helps build up that fatty layer with the acceleradine iodine. But the iodine helps get the toxins out of the cell and get the nutrients in. It also helps cleanse the blood so the liver can do its job. It helps regulate estrogen in the body and hormones. It reduces histamine, which histamines are going crazy right now with everybody. If you have brain fog, migraines, just rashes, inflammation, can't take your rings off your finger, that's all signs that you're having some sort of inflammatory histamine response. And iodine helps with that as well. Iodine is also helping with your thyroid, increasing your metabolism, and it's also increasing the ATP in the mitochondria inside your cell, which is super important for longevity, immunity, detoxification, everything. And so you need that acceleradine iodine. Iodine is deficient in over 96% of you, unless you are supplementing. With that iodine, you need the accelerated ancient salt because this helps plump up the blood to get the cells to pump out those toxins. And it has all 62 minerals. It's got a little iodine, but not enough. So that's why you need the accelerated iodine as well. But it helps break down fats in the liver, improves digestion health. It helps with apoptosis, which is the destruction of diseased cells. It cleanses that liver, removes excess oxygen. The accelerated cellular detox powder. So once we kick these toxins out from things like Teflon, we need to grab them and take them out of the body gently to take the burden off the liver and the kidneys. Our liver and kidneys are overburdened. They're not what they're dealing with so much more than what our ancestors were dealing with and what they're meant to do. So the accelerated cellular detox powder soaks those toxins out and kicks them out of the body through the colon very gently and prevents those detox flu symptoms from when you're trying to detox from the fumes from Teflon and microplastics and all the other stuff. We've enhanced the detox powder with the scalar frequencies. It tackles the heavy metals, insecticides, radiation, all of that. And it now has tridecine in it that helps flush out cholesterol and excess dietary fat, making it really great for that unexplained weight gain that you might have. So you also want to make sure you're tackling your gut health. You can look to the accelerated leaky gut bundle that makes your gut more resilient, helps with leaky gut. Leaky gut is going to be caused by things like Teflon and microplastics and heavy metals, all of that stuff, or just stress, right? So we're all under attack and our gut needs to be resilient against the things we're cooking in and the food we're eating. Now, of course, I recommend doing the liver flush cleanse at least 4 times a year. I do it like 6 to 8 because I feel so good. I'm getting ready to do it again. You flush out those gallstones immediately in the toilet. You see them, you feel amazing. It decreases the AST and ALT liver enzyme counts, replaces your liver cells, and it helps your body be able to then deal with these toxins that we are hit with. These fumes, you don't know what they're cooking with in these restaurants you're going to, the takeout food that you're taking in. You are assuming that they're clean ingredients, but they've got to save money. They've got to make money, right? So you just don't know. So focus on the right foods, wild animal protein, the vegetables and fruits on the accelerated food guide that is free to download off the website at SaraBantaHealth.com. You want to stay away from the foods with oxalates, sulfur, and mold. All of those are going to clog your detox pathways, making things more difficult to get those other things out. Remember, it's what is going to be the tipping point for you? What is the tipping point that makes you have Parkinson's, or you have cancer, or you just have Hashimoto's or slow thyroid? It's all of these things stacked up. It's not just one thing. So thanks for tuning in today. If you don't know where to start, this is overwhelming, just reach out to me at SaraBantaHealth.com. Happy to put together a protocol for you. Join my free group coaching on Telegram. There's no downside. The conversation continues after this. I share daily tips and tools to improve your health, answer your questions. You'll be surrounded by an amazing group who are on a similar path. And everything's at SaraBantaHealth.com. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Accelerated Health Products, and you can catch this podcast on over 100 platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. Just search Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show. I'm live every Tuesday, Monday, and I post a bonus one on Thursday, so make sure you subscribe, and you can use coupon WELCOME10 to get 10% off site-wide. Thanks again for joining us here, and have a great week.